video is to go over examples of how to find area of regular polygons. So just as a refresher, our area formula for regular polygons is 1/2 times the apothem times the number of sides times our side length. Alright, so remember the apothem is going to be represented by A, the number of sides is N, and the side length is going to be S. So we need those three things always before we can start solving. So we're going to first start out with a pentagon. And we have a couple of things that we can fill in. So we know that from the center perpendicular to the side is always going to be our apothem. So our apothem is actually going to be 4. We have the number of sides because of a pentagon. We know that that equals 5. So we're really just trying to solve for the side length. So that's our first thing we need to do. So first step, remember, is to solve for the central angle. So I'm going to take 360 divided by the number of sides. So when I do 360 divided by the number of sides, I get 72. And then remember, I'm going to divide that by 2 to get my central, or to get my angle is 36. I do that because remember, when I cut that central angle in half, it actually gives me a right triangle. Alright, so finding that 36 degree was actually step 2 in our notes. So after we do that, we know that we just need to find this entire side length, but we first need to find this short side of our right triangle. So we are going to use, since this is 4 and that is x, according to 36, I'm going to say my tangent. So again, if I take that out, I have 4 here, x here. I call that x because remember, s is actually 2x. Is going to equal s. And that is going to be 36 degrees. So I'm going to say my tangent of 36 degrees equals, and I use tangent because x would be my opposite, 4 would be my adjacent. I'm going to do x over 4. So when I put that into my calculator, 4 times the tangent of 36, making sure you're in the degrees rather than radians. I'm going to round to 4 decimal places. Again, so that's only giving me this much of my side, so I need to multiply that by 2. When I multiply that by 2, that's going to actually give me s, so s is going to equal 5.8123. So 5.8123. So since I have all three things, now I can plug it into my area formula. 1/2 times the apothem times my number of sides times my side length. When I put all of that into my calculator, I come up with an area of approximately 58.1 units squared. Alright, moving on to the next one. Looks like we have an octagon here. So remember, I need 3 things. I need my A, my N, and my S. Well, I don't have my apothem because my apothem, remember, is the height of that triangle, so I don't have that yet. I do have the number of sides, which would be 8, telling me by my octagon, and I don't have my side length, so those are, I need 2 things now. But we're still going to keep on the same steps. I'm going to first find my central angle. 360 divided by 8 is going to be 45 degrees. And remember, that is if I had this entire triangle from radii to radii, that's going to be 45 degrees. So that's why I divide it by 2 in step 2. which gives me 22.5 degrees. So that is step 2 that we just created. So when we do that, I'm going to pull this triangle out for step number 3. So when I do that, it's going to help me start to solve for my A, and that is my 22.5. And I have my hypotenuse, which is 16. So this would be my hypotenuse, this would be my adjacent. So I'm going to use cosine of 22.5 equals A over 16. So in my calculator, again, I'm solving for my apothem. 16 times the cosine of 22.5 gives me my apothem to be 14.7821. I'm going to move that up here so I know when I'm finished. Alright, and now remember I need my side length, but I can't find my whole side length. I need to find half of it. So that would be considered my opposite. So I'm going to use sine of 22.5 equals my opposite, x over my hypotenuse, 16. So in my calculator, I'm going to put 16 times the sine of 22.5, which gives me half of that side is 6.1229. And remember, I have to multiply that by 2 because that will allow me to have my entire side length. So when I multiply that by 2, my side length becomes 12.2459 as I round. Alright, so then, since I have all 3 things, now I'm ready to plug it into my formula. My area equals 1/2 times my number of sides, or my apothem, times my side number of sides, 8, times my side length, 12.2459. So when I do that, and again I'm rounding to 4 decimal places because that will give me the most accurate answer. My area is 724.1 units squared. Alrighty, and last one, we're going to do the triangle. So again, I need my 3 things, A, N, and S. So I don't have my apothem because my apothem would look something like that. My number of sides, triangle has 3 sides, and my side length is unknown as well. Even if, because a triangle has my interior degrees as 180, that doesn't necessarily change my steps because remember this is a circumscribed regular polygon. So because a circle has a total degree of 360, that is why I use 360 in my first step. So to find my central angle, 360 divided by 3 gives me a central angle of 120 degrees. So this entire angle would be 120. So remember, I divide that by 2 to get me 60 degrees, so that's step 2. That allows me then to come and look for step number 3. I'm going to bring out that right triangle. So I have 12 that goes here. This would be 60. So let's first start out solving for our apothem. So you can do this one of 2 ways. Because I have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, I can use my equations there, or you can use SOHCAHTOA, whichever one you want. So I'm going to actually start by solving for x because I know that Actually, I'm going to start by solving for, let's go back. I'm going to start solving for A, because I know that if that's 60, this is 30, so A would be my short leg. So I know that in my 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, my hypotenuse equals my leg times 2, or my short leg per se. My short times 2, so since my hypotenuse is 12 equals A times 2, my A is going to then become 6. Alright, so 6 goes here. Now, I know that my long leg equals my short leg times the square root of 3. Again, you can use SOHCAHTOA if you would like to. So, I'm going to say my long leg, x, equals my short, 6, times the square root of 3. So this x becomes 6 square root of 3. But remember, I need to multiply that by 2 to get my s. So my s is going to equal, I could say 12 square root of 3. Well, that wouldn't make sense. Let's go back. 6 square root of 3. So let's say 6 square root of 3 times 2. Alright, I was throwing myself off. Yes, after I do this, it would be 12 square root of 3 for this entire length here. Or you could say it was approximately 20.78446. So, now that I am finished, I have all three things, so now I can plug it into my area formula. 1/2 times my A times my N times my S. So when I do that, my area is approximately 187. We'll say 1 units squared. Alright, hope this little review helped you to understand how to solve regular polygons. So, hope to see you back soon.